Okay, so tonight what we're going to go over is like my sleep system. The only thing I used is a Harbor Freight mat that's intended to just go in front of like a workbench. Originally it comes 24 inches wide. I did cut off 4 inches, so now it's only 20 inches wide. My reasoning behind that is I didn't want it hanging off too wide on each side of my bag and constantly being caught on trees and stuff, because you will, when you're hiking, tend to go where your shoulders will fit, and as long as your shoulders will fit, you think the rest of you is going to fit. And at 20 inches this should fit with my shoulder width. It is 72 inches long, or 6 feet. It does have a textured back side, has a smooth reverse side. It's only 1/8 inch thick. It's pretty dense. I'm not really using it as a per se mattress pad, but an insulating layer between me and the cold ground, and or me and the cold moist ground. And simply what I'm using, I wrap it around what I'm using as a sleeping bag, which I'm about to put up here. This is kind of hard to do because my table's so small. But let me get this out of the way. By the way, this is only with coupons either $6.99 or $7.99 at Harbor Freight. I've only used it twice now, but it's held up good. I was actually pretty surprised that it did add some comfort, even though it's only 1/8 of an inch thick. It's not too bad of a product, really. I'm not complaining about it. As far as my sleep system, to be quite honest, it's nothing more than a wool blanket, which is what I started out with. I had it to begin with, and all I've done with it is turn it into per se a sleeping bag. So it's going to be hard to get all this in on this table. But what I did overall with it was just lay the wool blanket out flat. And I went by Walmart and was looking at sheets, and I found that a twin bed sheet was the same width, inch per inch. And I found one that said extra large, and I had written down my sizes of the wool blanket, and it wasn't wider, it was simply longer. And I went ahead and went with it, more so because of my color selection. I didn't want a leopard print or a zebra print or a pink one. And they had some really strange colors, and I really wanted a darker color, to be honest, help hide dirt. So what I essentially did was lay the wool blanket just flat out, and I took the sheet and laid it flat out. And I'm going to try to show you with these sheets of paper what I did. I laid the wool blanket flat out, and I took the sheet, which you will see, because the sheet set I bought excuse me, was considered extra large, I thought, because it was XL, but it was extra long. So when I put my sheet on top of the wool blanket, it exceeded the length of the wool blanket. And then what I did is just sewed all the way around. I did not sew across the top, just the sides and the bottom. And then I simply rolled it over, sewed up the foot, sewed up the side, and then once I got to 36 inches for the end here, what I did was sew in a zipper. And so now what I have is a sleeping bag, which I can zip or unzip. It's lined with a microfiber sheet, according to the package it came out of. And one thing I really like about it is once you get in it and you start snuggling up, is the extra long sheet gives you roughly 16 to 18 inches of nothing but nice soft sheet, which you can tuck in around your neck and head and shoulders. I mean, actually your shoulders will be down here, but what I'm getting at is this is nice and cuddly, nice and soft inside. It works really good, and by stitching them together they stay together. I didn't stitch this top half of the wool blanket to the sheet, and to be honest, I guess you could call me lazy, but after stitching the sheet to the wool blanket by hand and stitching the bottom together and stitching up the side and putting the zipper in, I was used up. I was over it, and I've left this just open. I haven't had a problem with it. Call me lazy, whatever, I don't care. But the thing about it is if you'll stitch your foot area closed, your feet can't stick out, you don't get drafts. Stitch it up the side, you won't roll out of the blanket. And then for convenience, of course, you've got your zipper, and once you zipper it up, it's really hard to do actually here on the table, and I need to stitch this little end per se back in, but when you're laying in it, and if you can zip it closed, it doesn't leak air, you don't get drafts, you don't lose body heat. And for me, at the price point, I think I've got maybe $5 or $6 in the sheet, $2.47 in the zipper. I did have to buy some needles. That did allow me to put some needles in my bag. I did stitch everything up with spider wire. Firm believer in spider wire. Just about any kind of braided fishing line will do. Very durable, it'll last forever, super strong. You know, this is what I'm using. I've tried it only twice. First night at 28 degrees, and I wasn't terribly comfortable at all. It just exceeds per se the rating of this bag. And the second night was 28, and it was still pretty miserable, so I did throw 2 hot hands in the back, and that made a world of difference. Of course, you can't carry out enough hot hands to make this work for you in a cold environment. I'm not saying this works for everybody. North Alabama, in the per se peak winter months, it's not going to work for you, but it's what I have right now, it's what I'm using. And I just wanted to show people that if you have a wool blanket and that's all you have to work with, I just wanted to show you what I came up with and what I'm using right now. And I can attest to 26, 28 degrees, I'm still alive. There was no frostbite, nothing had to be cut off of me. I wasn't comfortable. I would love to improve upon this in my bag. I think one of the SOL little B.O.B bags, I think they're less than 20 bucks, would be a super addition to go along with this for the colder nights. I think you could either slip this bag in it or it in this bag, and I really think it would make a world of difference, and that's probably where I'm going next, simply because of the price point, the size, and the weight of the SOL B.O.B bag. But I'm here to tell you, if you make your sleeping bag out of a wool blanket, you're going to like yourself a lot better if you will add this sheet to the inside, because when you get ready to snuggle in at night and it's cold and you've just got this nice soft microfiber material tucking around you that's not going to be itchy. The entire bag is not itchy, scratchy. It works really good. So kick it around. Hopefully something I've said, hopefully something that you know, I've sparked your mind to just think for yourself. And it works decently for, I would say, milder climates, but kick it around, see what you think, see if it works for you. If it works for you, you know, that's great. If it doesn't work for you, you know, just put it off to the side. You know, there's no sense condemning it, because it does work for me right now, and it's what I have. So I thank y'all for watching, and hope y'all have a really good night. Thank you. Goodbye.